Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Saturday, September 30th. We are about 24 hours away from kickoff. Jaguars versus Falcons in London at Wembley. First in a back-to-back for the Jaguars over across the pond. They're going to be taking on the Falcons tomorrow. The Bills next week at Tottenham Hotspur. So we've got bold predictions just about 24 hours out from this one, and we've got to start with Calvin Ridley, right? I'm calling for 100 yards receiving for Calvin. He's been really close each of the last 2 weeks to having big performances. The hands haven't been quite there. You saw a couple pre-snap penalties in week 3 as well against the Texans. I think Calvin Ridley rights the wrongs that he has had over the last couple weeks and has a really big day against his former team as a team captain in London. This is going to be a big emotional game for him, and I think he's going to come through for the first time since week 1 for the Jaguars. And I think this is going to be the start of a big season for Calvin Ridley. I think he's too talented, too hardworking. He's got too good of a quarterback throwing him the ball, too good of offensive minds around him, the coaching staff, right? When you talk about Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, I think that this offense is going to get going. I think Calvin Ridley is going to be a big part of that. He's going to be a captain this week against his former team, and I like a big 100-yard day for Calvin Ridley. And then Foye Oluokun, under talked about story. Foye Oluokun is playing his former team as well. I'm going with 15 tackles for him. This is a guy that has led the NFL in tackles 2 years in a row. I think 15 total tackles for him is completely within reach, especially against the Atlanta Falcons because they love to run the football. I think Foye Oluokun, along with Chad Muma, they're going to have to be super active in the tackle department, bringing down Bijan Robinson, bringing down Tyler Algier. So I think it's going to be a big tackle day for Foye Oluokun. I also think Evan Ingram on the other side of the ball for the Jaguars. I mentioned Calvin Ridley getting 100 yards. I think Evan Ingram has 7 catches in this one. Not sure about the yardage, but I just wanted to say here, I think that Evan Ingram against a man-heavy defense is going to potentially be able to have a really big day. When you play man coverage against Evan Ingram with a safety or a tight end, usually not the best results for the defense. I think Ingram should have a big day. I think the Jaguars should be looking to feature him in this game. He's been one of the more consistent receivers for them on the year. He has not gotten as much play as I think he should, as many targets as he should. I think he'll have a big one for the Jaguars in this one. Looking at the Falcons, I do have to be honest, this is a good football team. A very good football team. When you look at everything outside of the quarterback position, Desmond Ridder still has not figured it out here. He's got 7 starts under his belt now. It has not been looking very smooth for Desmond Ridder back there. But looking at their defense, I think that they have a very stout defense. I think particularly the Jaguars will struggle with their interior defensive line. I think Calais Campbell will have a good game against the run, but I think David Onyemata and Grady Jarrett, the 2 guys in the middle that really know how to rush the passer, I think they're going to combine for 3 sacks in this one, and not going to be great for Trevor Lawrence in that regard. Right? You're not going to like having that pressure coming up, hitting you in the face. But I think those 2 are just too good for what the Jaguars currently have in the middle, for what they're currently showing in the middle. Ben Barch at left guard has not been playing great since coming back from the knee injury. You look at your center, Luke Fortner, second-year player. He has not been playing great either. And Brandon Sheriff, he's been battling through some injuries, but he has not had a strong start to the season overall. So I think the Jaguars, obviously, you want to see those guys step up, but I think David Onyemata and Grady Jarrett are just going to be a little bit too much in the pass rush department for those guys, and they're going to have a day statistically, but not enough. I don't think enough of an impact on the Jaguars offense because I still think Trevor Lawrence has a pretty big day against them. Again, man-heavy defense. I think Trevor's going to be able to find his guys. 250 yards and 2 touchdowns for Trevor, in my opinion. This is a quarterback that has been playing extremely well. If he just had a few less drops and a few less pre-snap penalties by other people, he'd be looking a lot prettier in the stat column. But it is what it is at this point in the season. I do think he has a really nice day for the Jaguars here. 250 yards at least and 2 touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence with no interceptions. Look, I think that the Falcons, they have some really impressive guys in coverage. When you talk about A.J. Terrell at outside corner, you talk about Jesse Bates playing safety for them. But there's some other guys, if you're going to play a man-heavy defense, that the Jaguars can take advantage of, in my opinion. And I think Trevor Lawrence will do that in this game. The receivers, they get out of their way for the most part. Only one drop in this game. I just don't think that the Jaguars receivers are going to continue to drop the football the way that they have so far. I think you'll see that regress to the mean, and I think you'll see their focus increase a little bit. Talking about Bijan Robinson, one of the most electric players in the NFL today. Forget the fact that he's a rookie. Does not matter. He is an incredible football player. I think the Jaguars hold him under 75 yards rushing, which isn't a incredible feat, but Bijan Robinson, one of the best runners in the league, bar none, does not matter that he's a rookie. This is a guy that has the speed, he has quickness, incredible vision, his ability to cut in and out of breaks. It's just incredibly difficult to deal with, but the Jaguars have a very stout run defense. I think they're going to do well up front. They're guys that set the edge. Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen are going to be a big part of that. And then you talk about, again, Foye Oluokun, Chad Muma. They're going to have to be firing downhill, and you're going to have everybody flying to the football. And I think they will. The Jaguars take a lot of pride in their run defense. I think they hold him to under 75 yards rushing, but he does get in the end zone for the Falcons, and he will have a couple catches out of the backfield as well. We have a super close one here. Time to get the final score prediction. Jaguars 23, Falcons 20. A late Calvin Ridley touchdown grab wins the game for the Jaguars. Storybook ending for a Toy Story version of this football game, right? I think Calvin Ridley's going to have a huge day. I think eventually the dam will break, that this offense will really find its rhythm. Will it be this week against the Falcons? It's a tough matchup. I think 23 points is reasonable to expect as long as you don't have the Jaguars literally getting in their own way over and over and over and over again, as they did against the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. But here we have 23-20 Jaguars. Really hope you guys enjoy the game tomorrow. Really hope you enjoy the content. If you do, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can check out ginjag.com/shop and pick up some new Duval gear as well. Really appreciate y'all. Have a good one.